Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Syracuse on this beautiful day. It couldn't be more beautiful today. So you're here and you're ready for whatever it is that this day is going to bring for you. If you're ready, would you stand up, please, and join with us? Because all the people said amen, right? You are not alone if you are lonely, when you feel afraid. You're not the only, we are all the same, in need of mercy, to be forgiven and be free. It's all you got to lean on, thank God it's all you need. And all the people said amen. Whoa, and all the people said amen. Give thanks to the Lord, for his love never ends. And all the people said amen. And all the people said amen. Whoa, and all the people said amen. Give thanks to the Lord, for his love never ends. And all the people said amen. If you're rich or poor, well, it don't matter, weak or strong, you know love is what we're after. We're all broken, but we're all in this together. God knows we stumble and fall, and God so loved the world, he sent his joy and peace to all. And all the people said amen. Whoa, and all the people said amen. Give thanks to the Lord, for his love never ends. And all the people said amen. And all the people said amen. Whoa, and all the people said amen. Give thanks to the Lord, for his love never ends. And all the people said amen. And all the people said amen. Whoa, and all the people said amen. Yeah. Give thanks to the Lord, for his love never ends. And all the people said amen. And all the people said amen. Whoa, and all the people said amen. Give thanks to the Lord, for his love never ends. And all the people said amen.
Thank you, Sally, and the celebration team for getting us off to such an exciting start this morning. Welcome, everybody, to Unity of Syracuse. My name is Jill Partridge, and I'm going to be your platform assistant for today, this beautiful Sunday morning. I also want to wish you a warm welcome to everyone who's not here in person, but is joining us via live streaming. And we're going to open today with a reading of the daily word. The word today is faith for Sunday, July 9th, 2017. The seed of faith within me expresses through every choice I make. When I consider the totality of life and its many expressions, I may feel overwhelmed. Jesus provided a teaching that encourages us to keep things in perspective. Faith the size of a mustard seed. That tiny seed of faith within me consists of two words: God is. There is a power of infinite love and a spiritual dimension that embraces and transcends our limited human understanding. I plant that seed of faith and I nurture it daily with affirmations and careful, loving choices. Minute by minute, day by day, choice by choice, the infinite life and love of God expresses in every part of my life. And the Bible verse today is from Matthew chapter 17, verse 20. For truly I tell you, if you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. I think this reading is perfect. I think I could read this all day, every day, and it would be perfect and fulfilling, and it just gives me so much guidance. The simplicity of it is so beautiful. We just need to have faith. There's no complicated rituals that we have to follow that somebody else has prescribed. We're not having to beg to for mercy to some capricious deity, because as it tells us, God is everywhere. God is within us already and all around us, and everywhere in the material world. And all we have to do to access that is to just have faith and to acknowledge that faith. And I just keep trying to remind myself of that through everything I face each day. And so now is when our children go to YFM, if they so choose. So they will join their teachers at the back of the church, and we will sing them out with a children's blessing as they go.
We love you, we bless you, we truly, truly appreciate you when we hold the Christ in you.
Now, if you will stand as you are able to join me in saying this, our statement of being. God is all,
both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
And now we get to greet each other with a sacred greeting, staying in our seats and acknowledging those about us.
I give it all away. I give it over. I give it all. I give it all away. All that I do, I give it to you. I give it all away. All that I do, I give it all. I give it all away. All that I do, I give it to you. Don't want to lose my vision, don't want to miss your voice, don't want to let my passion get drowned out by all the noise. Don't know how to change it, don't know how to let it go, but I know that there is always hope. I give it all away. I give it over, I give it all, I give it all away. All that I do, I give it to you. I give it all away.
I'm at a crossroads with my dreams in the palm of my hand. Will I hold on or will I let go? Will I trust when I just don't understand? 'Cause we don't want to lose our vision. We don't want to miss your voice. Don't want to let our passion get drowned out by all the noise. No, don't know how to change it. Don't know how to let it go. But we know that there is always hope. There is. We give it all away. We give it over. We give it over. We give it all away. All that we do, we give it to you. We give it all away. We give it over. We give it all. We give it all away. All that we do, we give it to you. We give it to you. We give it to you. We give it to you.
I am now going to point out a few of the announcements we'd like to highlight for today. After the service, please check your bulletin because there is a list of everything that's going on here at Unity, and there is a lot, as always, a lot of wonderful things to take advantage of. Today is a very special day. We are going to be welcoming our new members, and that is going to be at the end of our service today when the children come back. After that, we will be doing welcome for our new members up here. And please join us following the service for cake and celebration. Also, next Sunday, I thought it was this Sunday, so I brought my bottles and cans today. But it's evidently next Sunday, YFM Bottle and Can Drive fundraiser. The fundraiser will be going on. So please bring your returnables for this fundraiser, and if you could rinse them out, that would be appreciated. YFM Teachers Meeting is Sunday, July 16th at 12:30 p.m. following the service. Also, the YFM Talent Show will be following the service on Sunday, July 30th. And the sign-up sheet is in Fellowship Hall. And this is open to everyone, not just children, from what I understand, correct? Okay. So everybody here, I'm sure, has a talent, and we encourage you to show that off at the talent show. As I said, the sign-up sheet is in Fellowship Hall, and everyone who's going to be performing in the show must come to a preview, which will either be taking place on Friday evening on the 28th of July or Saturday during the day on the 29th of July. As soon as that's confirmed, we will let you know about that. Now, we would like to welcome today's guests. Is there anyone here who's visiting us for the second or third time, or just hasn't been here in quite a while? Yes, hello, welcome. It's so good to see you. We have a gift for you downstairs in the bookstore, and you can pick it up after the service. And now, is there anyone who's visiting us for the very first time, has never been here before? Hello, and welcome. A couple people in the back.
Yeah. My brother Larry from Ohio and my cousin Dan.
Carol's brother Larry and cousin Dan from Ohio. Welcome. And our ushers are bringing you a gift, and that gift contains a candle which represents the light of the Spirit shining within you. And attached to your welcome packet is a yellow slip, so please fill it out so we can get to know you. Take it downstairs to the bookstore for an additional gift. And we invite everybody to stay afterwards for fellowship downstairs after the service. And now,
I'm Rev.Edith Washington Woods. I just want to welcome those who I haven't seen in a while, hey, and all of you who are new to our community. We're so grateful that you are here. It takes each one of you, joined with each one of us, to do amazing things. Like, you make a difference here and now. So welcome to our community. Stay after. There's more than just cake. There's probably some food down there and some salty and sweet stuff. I call them zuzus and wham whams. Ask me later and I'll tell you more about that. But have some zuzus and wham whams when you come downstairs. Thank you.
now we are going to have our 5 basic principles on the screen. These are Unity's 5 basic principles. And these are the basic tenets of Unity. Are there 2 of you who have seen one of them demonstrated in your life in the past week? Please keep your share to 1 or 2 minutes so we can hear from a couple people. Nancy? Nancy?
Okay, this is primarily number 3, I think. Friday, my son called, and his little boy's 5 and 6 years old, and he and his significant other were going to Seabreeze on Saturday. And would I like to go, or would Ed and I like to go, so that the adults could actually ride on some rides by themselves? That was their primary thinking, I think. But so we did, and I had a blast. 7 hours at Seabreeze. I did all the water rides with the kids, with the other adults just watching. It was cool. And Ed got in on it too. We rode on roller coasters that we thought we'd never do, and it was great. So it was truly the way of thinking that I'm going to be a kid today, and it was great.
Thank you, Nancy. Is there anybody else? Leland.
My office staff has been going through a number of changes, and I was not really happy with the one secretary that I had through a temp agency, and they were trying to find someone else. Well, so really this is for the power of prayer and also just living the principles. Out of the blue, from another employee, I got a resume, a text that there was a resume available on Monday. I got a hold of the gal. She couldn't really interview on Wednesday, but I interviewed her on the 4th of July. She starts tomorrow.
Thank you, Leland and Nancy. And now it's time for the blessing of the prayer requests. This is the prayer portion of the service. Will the prayer chaplains who are serving today please stand? Every Sunday we have a silent time of meditation from 7:30 to 7:45, and from 10:30 to 10:45. And then from 10:45 to 10:55, prayer chaplains are available to pray with you, and then again after service. There's usually 1 or 2 up here and then 1 downstairs after service. So that is a wonderful gift that we get here at Unity. I encourage you to take advantage of that. And the prayer box has been brought forward by Akosua. Unity was founded on prayer. At Silent Unity, prayer has been continuous for over 125 years. If you have not yet placed your written prayer intention in our prayer box, you can do so at the end of the service, or you can pray silently with us during this time. Prayer intentions are held in confidence here for 30 days. We do not open them or look at them. And then we mail them to Silent Unity, where they hold them in prayer for an additional 30 days.
Oh, wonderful Spirit. Oh, that brought us here today, that made us look and know that we are divine beings, that we are divine wisdom, that we are divine power. We say that each and every prayer in this box, and each and every one that is on our hearts, and those that weren't even placed here, because we all know what it is that we need, what it is that we deserve, what it is that the world knows that we can be. So it is with that that we say these prayers are all blessings. These prayers are all answered. And even if they're not answered in the manner in which we thought they were supposed to be, we know that it is all good, because all is right in the world, all is right in our world community, because we are truly blessings, we are truly divine, and we stand in love. Amen.
Now is time for meditative portion of this service. And some of you may have already joined me in closing your eyes, and if you have not, I simply ask that you do so. And for those of you who are not comfortable in closing your eyes, I simply ask and invite you to focus on one spot in the room. For there is no spot where God is not. The Spirit of the ever-loving presence of God is here and now. So I also invite you to relax in the seat where you are sitting. Relaxing into the nothingness of the now. Relaxing into the allness of now. And as you relax, I affirm that we are letting go and letting God. Letting go and letting God. For we know that there is this grand, magnificent way that Spirit is showing up right now. So if you could take a moment to consider what it is like having a day that is bright and sunshiny. Thinking about the sun and how it warms the earth, warming this place we call Syracuse and Central New York. Perhaps there is something that you want to do when you leave here today outside. If it's only to look at the sky, to be present with the now of it. And imagine just for a moment that sky, the warmth of the sun, that it is radiating through the walls of this spiritual community, lighting up the space just above your head. And if you could imagine for another moment that there is a burst of sunlight and the rays that are now washing down over your entire body, radiating light, radiating possibility, radiating the generosity of Spirit. And in this moment, we just sit with this presence of warmth, and perhaps it's even warming up every cell of your body. Perhaps the warmth of the Spirit is causing you to smile from the inside out. And know, dear one, that we are each experiencing this individually, but we are also experiencing it collectively as one. For there is one sun, there is one sun ray of light. And that light is moving through you now. And so we take a moment to continue to join our hearts and minds in this experience of light and love and possibility. And then we sit with the silent time, consciously co-creating this space together. May we take these words into the silence. I am love. I am light. I am generous. In the silence, we go deeper together as one. Love, light, generosity. Love, light, generosity. In the silence, we rest together as one. I am. I am love. I am light. I am generous. And in this expanded state of awareness, may we bring to our hearts and minds all of the people who may be seeking love, light, and generosity. May we also bring into our hearts and minds all of the intentions that have been placed in our prayer box. And if anyone has any person or situation, circumstance on your heart, if you could bring that to your mind now, so that we can hold the high watch, holding the highest and best in this moment, in this expanded state that we are in. And lastly, may we bring our own selves to that space as if we are holding ourselves in the ever-loving arms of Spirit, free and unlimited. We are. We're so grateful to feel that we are who we came here to be. We're so grateful for being the expression of light, love, and generosity. May we see it, know it, and feel it everywhere that we go, especially here and now. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Depended on me to change the world, to change the world. What if my only responsibility was to change the world, to change the world? Let me be the one to start a revolution. Let me sing my song to the people of the world. It all begins with one, the power of one, joining the hundreds of millions of people believing in one, the power of one. Don't hang around, stand up or sit down, just believe we can change the world. Together, we can change the world. Together, what kind of love can conquer disease and change the world, and change the world? What can I do to make poverty history and change the world, and change the world? Let me be the one to start a revolution. Let me sing my song to the people of the world, to the children of the world. It all begins with one, the power of one, meaning hundreds of millions of people believing in one, the power of one. Don't hang around, stand up or sit down, just believe we can change the world. Together, 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 it all begins with one. The power of one. It's joining the one. With some people believing in one. The power of one. Don't hang around, stand up or sit down. Just believe we can change the world. Together, we can change the world. Together, we can change the world. Together, it all begins with one. It all begins with me. It all begins with you. Together, it all begins with us. Together, 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 together.
What an amazing song, right? Our celebration team, thank you so much. The power of one. Isn't that interesting? Like, what does it mean the power of one. I'm so grateful to be here this morning. I'm Rev.Edith Washington Woods, for those of you who don't know it. Hey, live streamers, I call you love streamers. Hello, how you doing? Hey, Maria Isabella Gonzalez, how you doing too? The power of one is an interesting concept, isn't it? You know, here we are in this world. We're born as one person, one body, and we go through life oftentimes solo. Have you ever done that? Just go through life solo. It's all about me. But have you ever noticed that sometimes on entrances and exits, when you get on and off the highway, that there is one person? Perhaps they're living in the power of one. But when you see those people, do you wonder, why are they there? Do you wonder, or do you judge? Now, I don't know about you. I'm sometimes judging. Why are you here? Why don't you go to the rescue mission and get a place to sleep? Why don't you go somewhere and get some food? Because oftentimes people who are doing that, whether they're men or women, they're holding a sign, right? And they're asking for food. Are you some of the people who would actually drive up, roll down your window, and give them some food? Are you one of those people who would maybe roll down your window and give them $1, like on a rainy day or a snowy day, because maybe you feel like, man, I should do something? But are you one of those people that just drive by as if they are invisible? Well, I wonder if those people that are standing there, as people pass by, hour after hour after hour, are asking themselves this question: am I good enough? Am I good enough? You know, good enough for someone to roll down the window and say hi. Good enough for someone to roll down the window and just give them a piece of bread or something. But when, in those times, have we thought about our own selves? Like, when am I good enough? When do I measure up to others? Oh, it's really easy when we look at those people at those entrances and exits to judge them. It's real easy for us to make up something about them. Now, I don't know if I'm talking about you, but I know for sure I'm talking about myself. You know, there's this one lady, and she's sometimes at an entrance or an exit, and sometimes she's just down the block. And I wonder, and sometimes we talk about that lady here in this church, you know, oh, that person, somebody's pimping her out there. We don't know why she's out there. We really don't. And yet, we tend to make up stuff. We just do, right? Well, there was this lady that was doing the same thing. There's a guy that was standing on a corner every single day, and she walked past this guy over and over again. She drove by this guy. I said walk. She drove her car past this guy over and over again. Here I go. I'm going to come back over here now. It's like I have this little bubble, this little wall that says, don't go that far. Don't go. I'm good right here. Okay, good. And she drove past him over and over again. Now, the interesting thing about this guy, he didn't have a sign. No sign, nothing. He's just standing there, standing, waiting, hoping, begging. But he wasn't begging for anything. He was begging to be noticed. He was asking himself the question, am I good enough to stand here for someone to notice? So this lady, her name happens to be Ginger, I want to make sure I have it. Where is she? Ginger Sprouse. She decided to roll down her window one day and asked him, "Hey, what's up with you?" Now that might not be exactly what she said, but let's just say she said, "What's up with you, dude?" I think that's what I would say, just saying. "What you doing here?" And he started sharing with her his story. He started sharing with her his life. And there were three things that stood out. He said, "I'm here waiting for my mother. I have mental illness, and I have nowhere to live." Doesn't it just hearing that, I'm waiting for my mother. I have mental illness. I have nowhere to live. Oh, jeez. Can you imagine that? And he talked about himself. But those were the three things that stood out for her. And she didn't know what to do other than listen. But you know, her life was changed in that moment, right? Because he was waiting for his mother. You see, his mother had dropped him off one day and promised to come back. So he waited. He waited. He was begging, "Mama, when are you coming back? Mama, am I good enough?" And just standing there, a person in this United States, waiting. Nobody noticed, or they just ignored him. But this lady, she couldn't help herself but to stop. Now, she owned her own business. This business was a catering company where she would have cooking lessons for people in private parties. So she was doing okay. But something inside of her was moving her forward to roll down her window. And she thought, "Oh, gosh, man, what can I do?" So she did what most of us would do. Well, some of us. She started a Facebook page. The Facebook page is named "This is Victor." The guy's name is Victor Hubbard. And on this Facebook page, she shared a little bit about what had happened, her encounter with him. And people started sharing, and people started posting, and people started praying, and people started holding space for this man that they didn't know. And you know it went viral, whatever. What is viral anyway? Is it like the power of 10 or 100? Well, this viral was like 63,000 people. And it's less than a year. It hasn't been that long. 63,000 people following this Facebook page about Victor. Now I have to tell you, just because I can, Victor's a guy who's an African-American guy, and Ginger is Caucasian. And on that Facebook page, people were saying, someone should do something. Someone needs to do something about that guy. Okay. Could you figure like somebody should do something about that guy? You know, the celebration team sang that last song that you heard from them, and it says, "What if it depended on me?" What if it depended on me? Well, it is, as you guys sang, the power of one. The power of one who can change the world by changing one person at a time. So when Ginger saw those words, someone needs to do something about that guy, well, Ginger had already started the Facebook page, but you know what else she did? She started washing his clothes. She started cooking for him. She started doing all kinds of things for Victor. You know what else she did? Well, I have to tell you. She took him home. I know, can you figure? She called her husband up one day and said, "I'm bringing this guy home named Victor." Now, those of you who are husbands or wives, Can you imagine your spouse coming home and say, I got a surprise? What would you say? But you know, Paulo Coelho said this. He said, life has many ways of testing a person's will, either by having nothing happen at all or by having everything happen all at once. So can you imagine Victor standing there, just standing and waiting and waiting and waiting? Mama, where are you? And nothing was happening other than people riding by, looking at him. But then all of a sudden, everything started happening all at once. Victor called it grace. He said, grace is what happened. Yeah. I say it's the power of one times 6,300 people. 63,000. I got to add a zero. Okay. But this guy coming into Ginger and her family's life didn't just change him. You know that, right? And it didn't just change Victor. It's changing us now. It's changing us to know what the power of one looks like. You know, you remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? You remember that? Some of you knew when you were kids, and some of you knew when you had your kids looking at that show. And he said this. He said, there isn't anyone who can't love once you've heard their story. So let's go back to Victor standing on a corner. You see him. You see these guys. They have no names. You see these women. They have no names. And we make up a story about them. But once you hear what their life has been like, at that moment, we're able to love, aren't we? But what if we love them before we know the story? What if we make up a story that's loving and positive and affirming and generous? In our quest to be generous, loving, caring people, we can make up whatever we want. Perhaps they're a little bit like Victor. Yeah. That we really get to know who they are so that we love them as we love ourselves, as Jesus said and many other religious communities say. Well, you know, our power of the month this month is understanding. And with understanding, it is the ability to know. And it's not like know in an intellectual way, like no, I read it in a book or something. No, it's not like that. It's really to know intuitively, to know like Ginger knew in here that it was time for her to roll down the window. It's like peeling back the veil. That veil that says, I and you are separate. That when she rolled down the window, she opened up possibilities for both of them. That she didn't even know what's going to happen in that moment, in that second that she rolled the window down. It just took the power of one person rolling down the window and asking a question. And she was able to find out his story. And then love happened. You know, this power that we have is also attached to a disciple. And the disciple this month is Thomas. You remember doubting Thomas, doubted everything, doubted whether Jesus was really resurrected, really ascended. Some of us just say he was pure spirit. That with Thomas, what he was able to do is have the ability to see beyond appearances to reality. So when we're talking about Victor and we're talking about Ginger, we're talking about looking beyond what he was appearing to be as this man standing on a corner. That the reality of Victor is he is a spiritual beingness. The same spiritual beingness that we claim that we are. That when we are able to see another person with spiritual eyes, seeing beyond what is appearing, then everything shifts. And we're able to love them unconditionally. You see, that's where our work is. Our work is not the work that we do in our, we do our love work inside of ourselves, and that's great and everything, but it's also seeing everyone as the same. The power of one. Because if you look at the power of one, 1 times 1 equals? 1 times 1 equals? 1 times 1 equals? Yeah. That's like us. There's nothing that separates us from each other or even people standing on a corner. You know, it's very interesting when we look at this, we get to also look at, well, but what if it's not that? What if I'm looking at this person that is so unloving, that I'm looking at this person that's doing all this stuff, that I'm looking at these people, they're not like me. But oftentimes when we're thinking they're not like us, it's actually some aspect of us. Some aspect of us that we don't really like looking at. You know, like, when have I felt not good enough? When have I felt alone? Hopeless? No one cares. You see, it's more than just somebody standing on a corner. There is spirit underneath what is appearing. But if we dare to think that that's not it, the appearances, then we can look at our Bible verses for today, and it can assist us with where we are going. Our Bible verse for today comes from Galatians chapter 5, verses 22, 23, and 25. And it says, by contrast, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. There is no law against such things. If we live by the Spirit, let us also be guided by the Spirit. So Ginger that day was being guided by Spirit. You see, we don't have to be aware that that's what's happening. All we have to do is listen. When we listen to that inner indwelling Spirit within us, it always guides us in the right and perfect ways. And if she had not listened that day, then his life would not be saved. I don't mean like saved, like, you know what I mean. I don't mean that way. You know, saved from the despair that he was in. But she would have always drove by him and she would have kept wondering that question. Why is he there? Why is he here? Why is he standing here? And so in her own generosity, in her gentleness with him, they both were transformed. You know, in an old book by our co-founder Charles Fillmore called Talks on Truth, he says this: to be born into the Spirit is to come into an entirely new and different state of consciousness. Now, consciousness, my friends, means awareness. So coming into this new way of being, this new way of seeing beyond appearances, Ginger was able to open herself up to receive love, not just to give it. You know, we can give it away, right? But receiving it is a whole nother thing. And it's the most interesting thing that we could possibly have happen for us. Now, people on this Facebook page, that's 63,000 people, they send him notes and prayers. And I saw a little child's note on there that says, Mr. Victor. I hope you have a good life. Can you imagine a little kid, out of the mouth of babes? They always say it. Because why can't he? Why can't we see that for those people standing on the corners? Why can't we see that for our family members, those ones who tend to cause us any grief, tend to cause us any despair, tend to cause us any feeling of separation from them? Like, why do they have to be like that? I met someone when I was in North Carolina last week that was very much reminded me of my brother. And I went, that's my brother man. Yes. Now those of you who met him, you understand. And then he called me on the phone. I was like, I was just talking about you. I've met your twin. Because we have these people in our lives whom we also judge. We do that, right? Judge them a little bit, just a little. But if we bring in love, peace, and generosity, then we look beyond what is appearing. We look beyond those relationships that we have with those people. And we're able to see them differently. Like I see my brother as this generous, loving person with my mom, and I can't do it. From a distance I can. I could love her, yep. I could take 2 or 3 days, go see mama. And he's there month after month, year after year, taking care of her. And who am I to judge him because he's different? Well, I'm different too. That's all right. Yes? It's fun being that way because we were all created in the image and likeness of God, and we all are different, and yet we're all the same. I was looking in a kaleidoscope. It's kind of like some of these stained glass window pictures in here. If you see all the different colors in them and everything, that's us. We're all the different colors of spirit. We don't want to be cloned, do we? That would be boring. It would be so boring. We would sit there and talk to ourselves and say, what are we going to do with ourselves now? Will you change your hair? No. Will you change your hair? No. And we just be having this time with ourselves and nothing changes. But with us being this different kaleidoscope of people, then we get to celebrate all of the differences that we have and all of the similarities that we have. Yes. It's kind of like candles in the wind. Buddha said this about candles. He said, thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle. Kind of like we do when we have our various special services and we light off at a Christ candle. And the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. Happiness never decreases by being shared. So we're sharing it, You could have stayed home. I know, love streamers, wherever you are in the world, you're wherever you are in the world. But those of you who are here in the sanctuary, we could have stayed home. Could have watched it, live on stream. You could be watching it downstairs, But it's something about the power of our 1 times 1. And with the power of our 1 times 1, then we're able to feel happiness in a way that we wouldn't if we were all alone. We're able to feel it on a deeper level. And when we're thinking about those people out there on the corners and all of that, if we just send them loving thoughts, yes, those people who want to be noticed, because I believe Victor wanted to be noticed, don't you? He really did. That we get to notice them, that we get to know that they are visible instead of invisible. That when we're looking at them, we get to know that for ourselves, that we are visible and not invisible. That we get to know, like that song said, what if it depended on me? Well, again, Ginger Sprouse She was doing all these great things for him, but she decided, I need to do something else. I'm going to start a GoFundMe page. And here is why. Because what she noticed was that in trying to assist Victor, he didn't have a license, an ID card, no birth certificate. He didn't have anything. He was just standing there because Mom dropped him off, remember, and said, I'll be back. And we don't know how long he stood there, but when they were trying to get him services, social services and mental services and whatnot, it was very, very challenging because he had no identification. And so there they needed funds. And they started the GoFundMe page, and in less than 2 months, people had donated $15,000. And now at 6 months out, that GoFundMe page is over $36,000. You know what else? Mr. Victor is now receiving mental health services and all of the services he needs psychologically and whatnot. But you know what else? Remember the company I told you about that Ginger owns? It's called Art of the Mill. He started working there. And I saw a picture of him, and he had the biggest, humongous smile. And he said, she saved his life. That his life is nothing like it was the year before. And you can see pictures of him with her family, and he's this African-American guy and this white family, but you wouldn't know it. It's the spirit of them and the warmth and the generosity and the love that they are sharing, even in a photograph. You see, that's what it's all about when we say, what if it's up to me? You see, it was definitely up to Ginger. It was definitely up to her to realize that the fruit of Spirit is love, that the fruit of Spirit is patience. I'm sure she had to have some patience, right? That the fruit of Spirit was generosity, the generosity that she has given and is continuing to give to Victor. The gentleness that it must take to take in someone into your home and then convince your family that they should do it. To just be gentle and know that Spirit is leading and guiding our path in every moment of every day. So, our affirmation for the week can assist us with where we want to go with this. And here it is. I understand my happiness increases as I share it with others. I understand my happiness increases as I share it with others. Let's say that together, please. Together. My happiness increases as I share it with others. Let's say it one more time together. I understand my happiness increases as I share it with others. Share it. Share it. Even if it's a thought, a kind word, share it. And then it comes right back to us. And so it is. And so we allow it. Amen. Namaste. And now it's time for our tithes, love offerings, and gifts. And know that this is another way that we share ourselves, that we're able to be generous, loving, and kind. That just as we have been brought here together, that we are also able to give in a monetary way so that we can continue to do what we do in the world as one. And those of you who love streaming out there and love streaming land, you can push the donate button. There's one right there on that page. And now we're going to say our love offering blessing. Let's say that together, please. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive. Thank you, God. You are my source.
depended on me to change the world, to change the world. What if my only responsibility was to change the world, to change the world? Let me be the one to start a revolution. Let me sing my song to the people of the world. It all begins with one, the power of one, joining the hundreds of millions of people believing in one, the power of one. Don't hang around, stand up or sit down, just believe we can change the world. Together, we can change the world. Together, we can change the world. Together, what kind of love can conquer disease and change the world, and change the world? What can I do to make poverty history and change the world, and change the world? Let me be the one to start a revolution. Let me sing my song to the people of the world, to the children of the world. It all begins with one, the power of one, joining the hundreds of millions of people believing in one.
It only takes one. It only takes one. And I know you're wondering, what does Gandhi have to say today? Here it goes. In a gentle way, we can shake the world. It is appropriate, isn't it? I never know what Gandhi's going to say. It's just the next check in the line. The power of one. And so we take a moment to, I see some of you, yep, rubbing your hands together, rubbing that energy, that positive, loving, radiating energy that flows through your heart, through your hands, toward this money substance as we pray. Spirit, God, omniscience, loving presence. We're so grateful for how Spirit has shown up today to teach us the power of one, to teach us what it looks like to give and receive. We're so grateful for all that we have experienced today. We are grateful for all who have came so that we can live inside of 1 times 1 equals 1, knowing that the power of one is us, operates, moves, and has its beingness as us. We're grateful for all who have given in any way that they have given today, those who prepared all the food downstairs and preparing the sanctuary, because this is the sanctuary that is inside of us, living on the outside. And so we give, and it comes back to us tenfold, pressed down, shaken together. We're so grateful for the power of our oneness. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. And now we have the children coming up. Children.
bottle and can drive is next Sunday. So we'll start, there will be kids there to receive bottles about 10:30. So just make sure you're rinsing out the cans if possible and bagging them up and delivering. And thank you so much. Last time we got 21 bags, so
Wow.
thank you guys.
21 bags. Wow, that's cool.
All right, Dharma would like to say something. What do you make outside?
Rock sculptures.
Rock sculpture. Wow.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we kind of had a free day where we were practicing what we were really good at. And so I took some of the kids out, we made some rock sculptures, other kids stayed in and played some games. There was magic tricks going on, card tricks. So we were kind of just being together and practicing what we're good at.
Yay. Okay.
I made a map.
A map. Oh. What's in the map?
It's a map of Europe.
A map of what?
Europe.
Of Europe. Oh, Europe. Oh, wow. Okay.
He's got all the countries like shaped like they are and written, spelled right, in the whole European Union. So it's pretty impressive. And I told him if he continues to make maps of, Europe, North America, Africa, Asia, we can kind of display it all around and it'd be really cool.
Wonderful.
Good job,
Thank you. One more.
And we also had a meditation before we got everything started. And I feel like it was to spread positive energy in your body and distribute it with other people inside unity and throughout the world. So
That's pretty amazing. Thank you. And now we're going to say our children's love offering, the blessing and all that. And then I'm going to invite the children to go down, and we're going to have welcome our new members, okay? So if you guys can give us a few minutes. So let's say our children's blessing and affirmation together. We bless our children wherever you are. We see you surrounded by love and light throughout the week. We have expanded youth and family ministry. Awesome. Thank you. You guys can go sit down. And I want all the new members who are here to come on up. And Jill, can you come up since you're the closest board member here to help me welcome them? So, come on up. And any new members that have family with them, like your children or whatever, they can come up with you too. Come on up. Come on up. Hey, come on up, everybody. So, we want to welcome our new members here. Now, when people become members here, they're just not becoming members like, oh, I started attending Unity yesterday. That they've been here for some time, and they've gone through a series of classes, discussion groups about our 5 basic Unity principles, which you saw earlier. But they also learn just a little smidget about the history of Unity, and especially that we're founded on prayer. And so they have gone through that and decided, yes, they would like to become members. We had 8 in total today, and so I'm going to be reading. And we also have a gift. I always give a gift to all the new members. And so those of you who are here, you'll get that today. The first one we have is Karen Beck, whom's not here today. And Amy, her wife, Amy Cheney. And so we'll just put those to the side. And all of those are also alphabetical. So when you take, anyone who's not here. The next one we have is Andrew Fenner. Andrew. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And a gift for you. Thank you. And his lovely wife, Janet Fenner. You're welcome.
It's a blessing.
And your gift. Yep. And the next one we have is Thomas Jellicoe, I think is how you say it, and they didn't come back. So they were at the 9 o'clock service, and so we'll give those to them when we see them. Next we have Rose Newton. Here's Rose. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're welcome. And our gift to you. And her son, Todrick, is just standing behind, he's representing her family. Thank you. And we have Richard Patrick. He couldn't be here today? Okay, so we'll give him his or send it with Nancy. And last but not least, we have Sandra Weiss. We call her Sandy. Hey, Sandy. So welcome. Welcome to our family. You're now official, okay? So if you want to run the chicken barbecue, no, I'm just joking. We just give them a big task right from the gate, right? But thank you so much. Thank you, our new members. So let's say our blessing. We love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you, okay? All right, let's say it. We love you, we bless you, we truly appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. We love you, we really love you. Mwah! All right. Okay, so you can go now. Thank you so much. And now we'll just close it out with our prayer for protection. Let's say our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And the peace song, everybody.
Beautiful.